broccoli. Nope. No, no, no. Hate it. Don't name your cat that. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel if you guys have been here before, or welcome to my channel if this is the first time you are here. It's nice to have some old and new faces back. So as I'm sure you guys can tell by the title of the video, today we are going to be talking about Onyx Storm. Every time I read it, I want to say oinks, like oinks, but that sounds like a pig, and I know it's supposed to be onyx.
Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
So bear with me. And an interesting fact is this book has actually been recently dubbed as the fastest selling adult novels in 20 years, with 2.7 million copies selling in the first week, which I was kind of surprised at because I definitely thought Sarah J Maas would have like dubbed this title for herself. So I was very surprised to hear that. But I wanted to start off saying that even though I do have some issues with this book, which we'll be getting to in this video, this is in no way me trying to put the author down in any way, and this is a massive achievement that should be celebrated and recognized even if you don't particularly like the series. So even though I have some issues with this, I would like to congratulate her on achieving this, because as an aspiring author myself, like I could only imagine like achieving something like that. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way at the start of this video before we, you know, get into it. So the way I think I'm gonna set out this video is that I'm gonna give a quick overview of what happened in the story, then I'm going to get onto things that I had issues with, and then I'm going to discuss the things that I liked. So with all that being said, let's get talking because I have thoughts. Okay, so the story picked off where Iron Flame ended, which was Xaden turning into a Venin. Okay. So they are the antagonists of the series who get their magic through draining the ground, unlike everyone else who gets it either channeled through a dragon or a griffin. So at the start of Onyx Storm, Xaden goes to see Jack Barlow, which is this annoying man from book one who died, but then he came back to life as Venin. Anyways, he goes to see him in the cellars, and he tells Xaden that there is no cure to being Venin, and then we never see the man basically again in the book. So that was his purpose. So everyone in the inner circle, such as like Garrick, Imogen, Bodhi, are all watching Xaden around the clock, making sure he doesn't channel again, meaning that him and Violet are separated and like forbidden from like touching in the first half basically. And then also he gets given the title of the Duke of Terendor. So Duke Xaden, which is like a weird thing to say. So Xaden being Venin is one plot point, and then the other plot point is the gang researching and then going on missions to find like Andarna's breed of dragon, which are called Irids because she is iridescent. I got to say that one did send me. That sent me. It's just so funny. So they go island hopping, searching for Andarna's kind, whilst also like low-key looking for a cure for Xaden, which he needs because that man is reaching for power like every 5 seconds. And they are also trying to get an army to like help them fight with the Venin as well. And then it's all going on. Violet's ex, who's like heir to the throne, made an appearance, and then he was like never really seen again. We then go to an island where these people worship Dune, I think is her name. I pronounce it Dune, but it's spelled like this, so it could be like done, but I don't know. And here we see like this young like dedicated person or initiate or something. This whole goddess and temple thing was like really confusing. There was a lot of words that we didn't really get an explanation to. So we see someone there in this temple who is like silver hair like Violet's, like both the different colors, and then all the other people just have like silver hair. And then we go to another island and Xaden's mother pops up, which I will get into later. And then on another completely different island who worship another god, they worship the god of luck. They gang have to like pull tarot cards, and Traeger, who's like a Griffin rider who I absolutely do not remember being in any other book, he gets killed, which was sad for the reason that his griffin like died alongside him, and kind of sad because he was in a relationship with Kat, which is Xaden's ex, so they just got together. But it was kind of like set up like the only reason we're focusing on them being together is because obviously he was gonna die. So I mean, that was kind of obvious it was gonna happen, but yeah, he died, so R.I.P. So after this, the Irids then find Andarna, Tairn, Violet, Riddick, and Riddick's dragon at Atorum. And then they were foul of help because they just decided like, ooh, y'all are failures and we're not gonna help you, so bye. So that lasted long. After this, Riddick, Mira, and like everyone else finds out that Xaden is Venin, and yeah, they're basically all just fine with it and like, yeah, we'll help you find a cure, and that's it. So that was interesting. Oh, and also kind of like, no one's kind of batting an eyelid. Like, oh yeah, Xaden's Venin, like, oh no, they obviously don't like it and everything else. But then, like, I feel like everyone's reaching for power. Like this random cadet also in like training class or whatever, like started channeling from the ground and then got killed. And it's like, okay, but where was this in like book 1 or 2? Everyone in this book is suddenly just channeling for some random reason, which is like, okay. But anyways, Aretia, which is Xaden's home, is attacked, and then one of the Irids, which turns out to be Andarna's brother, turns up and like fires up the ward stone. So now Aretia also has wards, which like protects you from the venin. We also find out that Violet is a dream walker, which is her second signet, so she can like go into people's dreams and like can either alter them or watch what's happening, or I don't know, it's not really explored that much. So that happens. Then Mira gets abducted by Theophane, which is like the primary antagonist kind of this book, who is like a storm wielder. We think it's lightning, but then it's just actually storms, like Violet's mother used to be. So everyone then goes to Drathis, which is where Theophane is like holding Mira, and then all the Venin are attacking the city, so everyone needs to go to save like these tens of thousands of civilians. Mira then gets her throat slit, but then is magically saved by Brennan, so you know, it's fine, she good, she alive. And then we also get a random chapter of like Rhiannon's point of view where like nothing happens, so we just got her point of view for some random reason. And then we also got Imogen's point of view where Quinn dies, who was like, you know, some person in the background of this series. And then we get Xaden's point of view where we see that the evil sage is back, and this was the sage that Xaden was supposed to have killed in the end of Iron Flame, and this is the whole reason that he like channeled power, was to kill this dude. So he channeled basically for no reason because he didn't even end up killing the guy in the first place. So and here it's referenced that Xaden has a new sibling. So we have the evil sage guy, and then we have Xaden having a new sibling, which we're thinking maybe it's Garrick or Bodhi. So Xaden is basically talking about how he can't kill Berrywyn, is the sage, his sage's name, the evil guy. So he's like, because I, full stop, can't, full stop, kill, full stop, him. And then the bond between Berrywyn and me is the kind that should never exist. And now that my sage has another sibling he can use against me, I'm screwed. I glance past Berrywyn, past Sigel and the Venin, to my new brother and the unconscious dragon lying in the valley beyond the canyon, guarded by 7 wyvern. How could he do this, choose this after watching me stumble and fall over the last 5 months? How could he willingly walk the path I fought like hell to leave? He's the last person I would have ever expected to turn. And yet, here we are. So, the people who knew he's been struggling with being Venin are Garrick and Bodhi. And we see that Lieutenant Tavis, aka Garrick, is missing at the end. So yeah, I don't know. It's either gonna be Garrick or Bodhi, and then also Bodhi was like being sick in Imogen's point of view in the battle. So I don't really know if that's like linked, but someone is a Venin. So that happens. Oh yeah, Xaden also, you know, gives up his soul. Basically, he channels like the most he's ever channeled to save Sigel, who was like captured. So he's pretty much gone. And then we jump back to Violet. And this is like a literal jump. I was so confused when I was reading it because you're supposed to be like in her brain and she has no idea what's going on. So then in turn, you're just like, wait, what the hell is going on? And then we find out that she's had her memory wiped by Imogen, and then she has a big ass ring on her finger because she is married to Xaden. Yep. And we literally end off having no idea what the hell has happened. So obviously we're going to figure that out in the next book. So yeah, that was what happened. So now we are going to get on to things that I have issues with. So the first one is not necessarily to do with anything that actually happened in the book. It's more of like an editing issue that I have that I noticed. So if you look at page 368, there is a sentence, I'll maybe just like put the picture on the screen as well, that says, "Is it true most everyone burned to death?" So that sentence doesn't make any sense because it's supposed to be, is it true that almost everyone burned to death? So something missing there. And then also in Iron Flame on page 705, I'll also maybe put the picture here, there is a full stop where it's either supposed to be a comma or it's supposed to be a full stop, and they've just forgotten to put a capital letter behind that. So yeah, I'm like, if you have an editor, get them to check your work because that's their job. So yeah, that was just like a little mistakes that I noticed, but I thought I should point out, like, let me know if it's in your book, because maybe it's just in this batch that I have, but yeah, let me know. So that was something that I noticed. But into actual things that happen in this book that I have problems with. The first thing is that when Tairn gets yeeted out of the tornado, he crashes into the side of a wall and goes unconscious. Now, this is the first time anything really big has happened to Tairn, like that he has gone unconscious anyway. It's definitely the first time. And I personally feel like Violet's reaction was such a letdown. So she describes him hitting the wall, then falling over, then she's like, the bond goes dark. And then in capital letters, no, Tairn, I scream, terror locking every muscle, stealing every thought but one. He can't be gone. So this is the only reaction really that she says, he can't be gone. I'm like, surely you're on the back of your dragon, you would be thinking some other things apart from, he can't be gone. Like, that's it. And then she's just like, I should have heeded Tairn's warning about the storm. Is he all right? Like, seriously, like, it was so like anticlimactic. I was like, this is the first time anything's happened to Tairn, and you're just like, is he all right? He can't be gone. Like, this makes me feel absolutely nothing. She can feel him breathing, but does she actually go to check on him, walk up to his face, see if he's okay, check over his body? No. And then also, we don't even see him wake up after this. We just get the next scene is him awake and like flying her back, and then she's like, has to get down his body because of her knee. And that's it. I'm like, where is the, I thought you were going to die. Like, I was really worried. Where's the like emotional connection of anything? It was just, I was very disappointed in how that scene played out. So yeah. Oh, and another one, this one actually I think bugs me the most, is that her and Xaden cannot be anything but sexual. Like, I know people love reading sex scenes and stuff, and like I enjoy them myself, but there needs to be like a balance. So they're like getting it on at the start of the book, but then they have to stay apart because Xaden like channels something out of like the headboard or whatever. So they like stay apart really for the rest of the first half. So anytime they see each other, it's always like they're talking through their bond, and it's always like, oh my gosh, I want to do this to you. Oh my gosh, yes, this. Ooh, I miss you. I want you in my bed, and all this like sexual stuff. And it's like, can you actually like have a proper conversation between two people that's not like, I want to do this to you, I want to do this to you, I want to do this to you? Because if anyone has been in a relationship, you know that it's not like that 24/7, and you have other things to talk about, and the relationship is not just all like, oh, I want to do this to you. Like, I don't want to read about that like 24/7. The man is literally turning into a venom. Do you not think that you should be talking about that instead of being sexual like 24/7? Because it's like really annoying, and genuinely I have to skip the scenes where they come on. Like, it's actually so off-putting for me personally, like when I see them come on screen and then they're talking and then I'm like, I swear to God, if you literally say like sexual things, just like, oh my God, shut up. Like I just skip over it. And even now, like, they can't be alone together without having sex or doing something sexual. Can you not just have a sweet, cute, romantic moment doing something else, like learning things about each other? Like in the last, like in Iron Flame, Xaden sent letters to try and help Violet understand who he was. And I'm like, we never got to see any of that. Don't know anything about him particularly from that. It was never revealed, and then that would have been cute. But no, everything has to be sexual. The present has to be a sexual little skimpy dress that she's gonna wear for them to have sex in. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I hate it. I feel like it needs to be a bit more like Rhysand and Feyre, where like, yes, they have their sexual moments, which is better because it doesn't happen like all the time. When you have reading something all the time, it just gets boring. So at least Feyre and Rhysand, they have friendship and they have other things that they're doing, and then they'll go and do that, you know? So personally, that is like really, like, it's kind of put me off. I'm like, I don't actually want you guys to be together because you're so annoying. So yeah. And also the way Xaden's mother's plot was introduced was surprising. So I knew she was obviously going to pop up at some point because it was foreshadowed in like Iron Flame and Fourth Wing, but I did not expect to see her just randomly pop up on some random island which was serving abnegation vibes. And then her new husband tried to kill them all, and then they left the island and never saw her ever again. Like, I was like, sorry, what? Like, it felt like a waste of having her still be alive to then have this happen and then we just, that's it. Like, it was so random. Oh, and another thing which is linked to the dragons is that when Andarna breaks the bond, it was the most anticlimactic thing I think I've ever read. Like, the way it was written didn't make me feel anything. Like, I just felt indifferent. So basically Andarna created the bond, so she's an Ariad, which means she can like do that because Violet was already bonded to Tairn. So Andarna like created the bond herself so she can break the bond. And she says that she doesn't know how to break the bond, and literally 2 seconds later it's like done, it's gone. So when she breaks the bond, it says, a shrieking whistle sounds in my head and then only silence remains. I reach for the bond and find only a wall, then nothing. Andarna whips her head towards Leithan, which is her brother. So Andarna roars up at him, and then her gaze swings wildly, focusing behind me, then to the right, then landing on me for the length of a heartbeat. Her eyes flare like she wants to say something, and I throw myself at the wall where our bond used to be. But it's gone. A breath later, so is she. My heart stutters and my lungs cease their struggle. There's no air and no reason to seek it. My knees buckle and then I collide with the ground. I'm nothing. And then it just says, she left us, she left us, she left us. It's all I can think. So I'm like, okay, but she broke your bond, apparently. Like, where in here, where in any of that does that say how that feels like inside your body? How, like, if she's bonded to you, surely her breaking the bond would be like painful. Like, you'd be like, feel like something's ripping out of your chest, like you'd be in pain, like you'd be feeling like so many things at once. And there's just none of that explained here. Because when she says, I'm nothing, I'm like, that's great, but that doesn't tell me, the reader, anything. There's like no imagery or any like moving writing of feelings and emotion that's gonna make me want to feel like any emotion, because I didn't. I was reading this just like, okay, cool, like that happened. So, and then she just lies in bed for 3 days and is just saying like, Andarna's gone, Andarna's gone, Andarna's gone. Yeah, that's great. We already know Andarna's gone. How about you try telling us how that feels for you, since we're in your point of view? And then Mira comes in and asks like, oh, how did you replace the power you lost? And is like, well, we don't know, because she's literally never said that she's like felt any loss of power or anything different in her body apart from like she's gone. It's so confusing. And then Andarna comes back at the end and then has like 2 words. So I'm like, why did you come back? Oh, it's so confusing. And then Tairn's bond is also dimmed when Violet tries to reach for him at the end. So it's like, where did he go? Like, because him and Sigil can't be separated. So if Xaden's gone full venom, then either Sigil's gonna stay with him, which I doubt if he's evil. So that means like Sigil will have to come and be with like Tairn and that. I don't know what's gonna happen there. But yeah, I was just thought the breaking of a bond between your dragon and the rider should be like an immense thing, like kind of how it was for like Rhys and Feyre in Akamath. Like that shit was emotional, and this was not emotional at all. Couldn't have cared less, to be honest. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on what you thought about that. And yeah, also when we changed to Imogen's point of view, it was a dead giveaway that Quinn was going to die. And again, like, Andarna breaking the bond felt absolutely nothing. Quinn was kind of just someone who's like been in the background of the series. Like, I actually couldn't tell you anything about her or even what she looks like. And I feel like her death kind of fell flat. Like, obviously you want to have someone die at like the end of the story for like dramatic effect and be like, oh my God, like someone's from their circle has like died, and it's supposed to be like sad. But considering I'm like, we never got to see any of like Quinn and Imogen's friendship on the page, you just kind of get told, oh yeah, there's Imogen, there's Quinn in the background. Yeah, they're friends. I'm like, where did we get to see that? Like, why should I care about their friendship if we never get to see it? And then she dies and I was just kind of like, oh, that's sad. Yeah, I'm like, your audience isn't going to care if someone dies if you don't see them on screen that much and like don't have a reason to care about them particularly. So yeah, that death just kind of fell flat for me. And then also I found the pacing a bit weird. I feel like we went to a bunch of these different islands but didn't end up like exploring any of them in any detail. Like, we were literally on each island for like 5 minutes. That's what it felt like. So with the God of Luck, they were only in the stadium and then Trigger died and then that's it. That's all we got to see of that island. They landed in the stadium, they picked some tarot cards, he got shot. Someone got given a cat, which they named Broccoli, which, broccoli. Nope, no, hate it. Don't name your cat that. So yeah, we just like jumped from one place to another without like any exploration of like the cultures or the scenery or anything like that, their history. So yeah, it just was like a bit like, whoa, like, oh, we're on this island. Oh wait, no, we're back at the college. No, wait, we're on this island. And then we've just jumped to this island. And then, oh, now we're in this island again. And this has happened. And oh my God, it was so like, what the hell is happening? So yeah, there was like a lot going on in terms of like, they went loads of places and things were happening, but then it also felt like absolutely nothing was happening at the same time. And then also I kind of noticed that Violet didn't really think about her mother's death like at all. So she didn't do any like crying or processing of like any emotions really to do with her mother, or even really talk to anyone about it. I feel like she's a bit too obsessed with Xaden he's just kind of her whole personality. We can't think of anything else unless it involves Xaden. So I'm like, you can't process any emotions or have like any other real relationships with anyone else because Xaden is tied into all of it. And of course, like, she loves him and everything. And yeah, that should be a big point because she wants to help him, which is absolutely fair. But also like, everything is about Xaden. Like, how about you can also care about someone else but also process things that have to do with you and like put time into other relationships apart from like one with your partner, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I just noticed that. And then also when Mira was acting weird about their father having left all those books specifically for Violet alone, I guess that like made Mira kind of feel like left out. So they were a bit weird for a while, but then there wasn't any like proper discussion or like heartfelt moments between the sisters either. It was just kind of like, you know, brushed over and they didn't really get to talk about their dad or any of that. So yeah, that kind of happened. And then when they were talking about that whole Violet being dedicated to June, the goddess, like her dad obviously put her there to try like fix her, is what it came across as. But then we didn't really get what it means to be like dedicated to a priestess or whatever, like a temple. Like, it wasn't explained at all. So it was just a bit confusing. So yeah, I think that's kind of everything that I really have like major like issues with. I feel like some things were supposed to hit and just did not. I feel like there should be more explanation on things that there just wasn't, but there should have been like more time and effort put into certain scenes. So yeah, that was my thoughts on things I didn't like. But in terms of things I did like, my favorite character in this series has to be Riddick. He was so funny in this book. Like, all his scenes, I just loved him. Like, anytime he came on screen, I was like, yes. I loved his personality and his humor throughout the story. And I also liked that we got to see him and Violet's friendship like grow, because he was like really looking out for her when he found out Xaden was Venin, and they had a really in-depth conversation about it, which I thought was really nice. And then I also think his dragon, Atorum, I think that's how you pronounce it. Or it's Aotrum? I keep just calling him Atorum, so I apologize for that pronunciation from before. So it's spelled Aotrom. That's my bad. But yeah, he's got like ice building powers, which is cool. And then I also liked Garrick and Imogen's flirtations, even though there wasn't really that much of it. But like when it came on, I was like, oh, that's quite cute. Like I like Garrick, and I feel like Imogen, it just comes across as like a big badass. So that was kind of cute for her having like a little flirtation. So I kind of want to see more of that, unless Garrick's turned an evil venom, then maybe not. And I also enjoyed the process of Sawyer going from being in the hospital bed, since he'd like previously lost his leg in the last book, to end up then going back to classes, and then in the end going to like Violet for help when he wanted to try and like mount his dragon Silsag, because like, he felt comfortable with her because they both have to do things differently to ride their dragons than other people. And I feel like it was nice to show that process, and that it's absolutely okay for them to do things a little differently, because at the end of the day, they still have the same result. They're still powerful. They're still like everyone else. They just have to do things and get there a little bit differently, which I thought was a really nice thing to explore for them, like accommodating to their own bodies. So that was good. And then I also liked the storyline that Andarna was like looking for her family, and the struggle that she faced when they found her, because I feel like lots of people sometimes have like expectations built up for things, and then they don't go the way that you expect them, and then maybe you get let down. So I feel like that was like reflective of like a lot of things, obviously not just going out and finding your dragon family in like everyday life, but I feel like the feelings that were there in terms of going into a situation where you expect a certain result and then it doesn't quite happen the way that you expect it, I feel like is quite realistic. So I did enjoy that as well. So yeah, but overall, yes, I did enjoy the book. Like I enjoyed reading it. And I like the plot, like I like the storyline, I love the dragons, and I love the story world that she's created. Like it's very interesting and I do enjoy it, but as like I said, like wish there was more exploration of the feelings and situations where there should be heavy emotion. I feel like we need to just stay on that and drag it out for the appropriate time that there needs to be, because with these big moments that happen, I feel like there's other scenes which are less important and that nobody really cares about, but they last 10 times longer than something as hard hitting as losing your dragon, or something happening to your dragon, or any like really moving scene. And I do feel like she needs to focus on other relationships that's not just Xaden. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say on it right now. If I think of anything else, I will put it down below in the comments. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments, but please remember to keep it respectful. Like this is all my personal opinion. This is just what my thoughts are like when I was reading it. These are the things that like stood out to me personally, and things I have issues with because they didn't make me feel how they were supposed to make you feel. But you guys can let me know your experience reading the book. But yes, please keep the comments respectful. If someone else has a different opinion from you, like please talk about it in the comments, like in a discussion, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Even if I did have differing opinions to you, I still hope that we can like discuss it in the comments in a nice way. And yeah, let me know if you guys want me to do a thought process on Iron Flame or Fourth Wing, or just do a video with them both together. Let me know down below. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you guys want to see more content like this, because I would love to have you in my little community. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.